Minicamp is over for the Dallas Cowboys. Now there is a kind of long break until training camp gets going in late July. We're going to have minicamp winners and losers to discuss on today's show. More winners than losers. Before we dive into that, the share record for a video in June is 128. Can we beat that on today's video? Text it, put it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, whatever. Share today's video. Let's see if we can break that mark. All right, minicamp winners to discuss. Kaiir Elam, the cornerback, is first up here. And this has been a pretty steady drumbeat from the open OTA periods to now. Elam got a bunch of reps with the ones, made a pass breakup, a daily occurrence as well. And that's, I think, exactly what the Cowboys were hoping for. In general, and this goes to training camp too, the preseason when you're just operating against your own team, you want to have some wins and also some losses, because otherwise that might mean that one side of your unit is just bad. Elam made some plays on a secondary that, as we'll get into, it's had some issues. Here's what Elam said on his role. I think this was a Joe Hoyt quote over at DLS Sports. I just want to be a consistent dog every day. My coaches, when they talk about me and my performance on the field or my performance in the weight room or my performance in my ability to catch onto the plays fast, I want them to say Kaiir is super consistent and he gave it all he could every single time, and I'll be happy with that. Which, by the way, is kind of similar to what Schottenheimer said about Kaiir Elam. The depth chart right now is extremely murky at corner. I think Deron Bland's the nickel. If not, it's Ezeiruaku, but that's kind of a thin grouping as it is. Diggs and Revel probably aren't going to be healthy for week one. Maybe. Revel, I think, has a chance, but that's also, they're probably going to bring him along slowly. I don't want to lock it in and be like, oh, well, he's not available, or he's limited, or he's just not ready to go yet because he hasn't been practicing. He's not going to be a full go until like a true closer to ECU peak form until like week 10 or something, even though he's active and everything. I want to asterisk that one. Kalen Carson has actually been a bit nicked up. Do we trust Andrew Booth? Is he going to be out there? I think there's a very good probability, if not outright very likely outcome, that Kaiir Elam starts for the Cowboys in week one, which could make you nervous, and that's fine. I think that's the case. Y for yes, N for no. To offense, Brevyn Spann-Ford, the tight end. He has gotten some work with the ones and seems to be capitalizing on those opportunities, which I think does matter. Not that I think he's going to surpass Jake Ferguson. I don't think that's what's going on. But the Cowboys have, I think, some more freedom to run more two tight end sets because of George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. You've got two really good pass catchers. You can maybe justify adding a bigger, large human like Brevyn Spann-Ford at 276.7, by the way, who had some drop issues back in 2023 for Minnesota, kind of tanked his own draft stock there. I am excited to see how the tight end room shakes out. They're banking on Ferguson. Schottenheimer made that very clear in his press conference on Thursday. I think there is a chance that Spann-Ford can really push Luke Schoonmaker for a tight end 2 role. And I think if looking for the tight end 2 is the best blocker, which matters in two tight end sets, I think that's kind of Brevyn Spann-Ford. Here's what Jake Ferguson, by the way, said on Spann-Ford. He's always had it, i.e. pass catching. It's fine-tuning the details. He's always been a great athlete. It's about learning the game and getting it as much. I'm excited for sure. Let's go to running backs here. Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, they have gotten the majority of the reps with the ones. And that's, don't read too much into it because this can drastically change come training camp time. I think puts them in the pole positions to be the lead backs on this Cowboys roster. There will be a role for Jaden Blue. I think Jaden Blue is the most likely to make this roster. I think he's almost 100%. But that doesn't mean he's the most likely to be the lead back. That could be Javonte, could be Miles Sanders, or Deuce Vaughn / Phil Maffa are super impressive, and they force one of Javonte or Miles Sanders off the roster. Kind of a opposite end of the spectrum outcome for both those guys, potentially, of they could be huge contributors or miss the team altogether. So starting strong in minicamp does matter. Miles Sanders, by the way, this environment favors him because he's explosive, and there's no pads on and no contact. So I want honest answers on this one, folks. Grade the Cowboys running back room for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comments of today's show. Let's go to Jack Sanborn, the linebacker, who I think is very much positioned to be a starter. This has been kind of a steady drumbeat dating back to OTAs too. He's in line to start at middle linebacker, or at least inside linebacker, alongside Kenneth Murray. He held up well at minicamp. He got praise from various media every time, like, hey, he's in the right spot in coverage. I think he actually can hold up in coverage better than I thought he would coming out of Wisconsin, frankly. I think that was true in his time in Chicago. Can do some strong side, weak side, middle linebacker. Sanborn's a winner. I think Kenneth Murray also qualifies as a winner. More praise for Sanborn at minicamp. That's why I put him on here. Both guys were OTA winners and losers. Murray is currently holding the green dot responsibilities, which I think also is a key thing to point out. Sanborn could also get some of that, but at the walkthrough on Thursday, Murray had his helmet on because he had the green dot responsibilities. No one else had their helmets on. Today's show is made possible by Chubbies. Summer is here, and it is officially time to let the dogs out. And by dogs, we do mean your legs. If your pups have been stuck in jeans or sweats or whatever the past few months, check out Chubbies. Their biggest sale of the year is on for a limited time, which means $45 bottoms. That goes for both swim trunks and shorts, and up to 65% off select gear. The Chubbies Original Stretch Shorts live on your legs. They are available in long, short, or way short. They got a relaxed fit, elastic waistband, and no fuss design. Pair them with the Performance Polo for golf, for drinks, for dinner, to the beach, whatever. The Performance Polo is elite. And, of course, the classic lined swim trunks are perfect for the pool or the beach. So don't wait. For a very limited time, their biggest sale of the year for $45 shorts up to 65% off select gear is on. Go to chubbyshorts.com/chat and grab your favorites before they are gone. If you miss the sale, don't sweat it. Use code CHAT, C-H-A-T, for 20% off at chubbyshorts.com/chat. Support the show. Let them know we sent you when the survey asks, and turn some heads in your Chubbies. Summer's here, and dress like it. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. I'll put Joe Milton on here. There wasn't as many downs as I think there was in some of the open OTA sessions, so I'll put him on the minicamp winners. That's not to say it was perfect, necessarily. There were some downs. There are moments where he holds the ball a little bit longer than what you probably like, and sometimes the accuracy can come and go, but in what I think is a favorable environment for Joe Milton, there's no contact allowed. There's not really any pass rush. The secondary is kind of depleted right now in Dallas. Like, he should look good, but he did look good, and I want to give him credit for that. Training camp and the preseason are going to matter a lot more for a guy that is, you're just trying to develop him. But that's what Joe Milton is. He is a developmental QB. There will be the pros and cons of development as we go along with this process. The Joe Milton experience is going to be a thing this year. It should be entertaining. It should give us better reasons to watch the preseason. Gone are the days of we're just going to watch, Cooper Rush and maybe a Will Grier or some other quarterback we don't care about. You get some excitement with Joe Milton one way or the other. Also on the positive side, Dak Prescott, which again, and I'll get to this on the secondary side, but CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and Tolbert, whoever else out there, is a far better grouping than Deron Bland mostly playing nickel and Kaiir Elam and Ezeiruaku. Like that just favors the offense. So he should look sharp, and he did look sharp. And I think these single sleeve, hope it stays. I actually want full shooting sleeve on this arm for Dak, and I'll wear one if he does that. He's done all the work. He's going to be good to go for training camp. He's going to just got to be cleared for contact is all that's left. Full go is the vibes expectations here for Dak. You got to keep him healthy. That's my bigger concern. But you're trending in the direction you need to be trending right now. When it comes to this quarterback room for the Cowboys. Back to defense. How about a rookie? Donovan Ezaraku, the edge. Shout out Nick Harris for saying he's talked to some people off the record about standouts, and they've consistently popped up with Ezeiruaku as one of them. He's drawn some praise. He looks good athletically. It's not a huge surprise. Again, the freaky athletes tend to look really good at OTAs and minicamp because there's no real contact. But he's got bend. We haven't got to see his pass rush moves yet because there's not really the same level of contact. I think he's going to be a key rotational piece in year one. And I think the goal in year two is to essentially take over the role from Dante Fowler as a starter on the outside. And you'll still have Marshawn Yellen involved as like kind of maybe an early down player who can kick inside some. I think there are higher expectations for Ezeiruaku than long-term than anybody else on that defensive edge rushing group outside of course, Micah Parsons. So name a Cowboys minicamp winner for me. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Let's move to the wide receiver room next up here. And again, in general, favors the wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb, looks like CeeDee Lamb. The George Pickens, as mentioned, connection with Dak Prescott looks really sharp. Jonathan Mingo has had some good days. That's a really good sign there. Ryan Flournoy looked pretty sharp per Patrick Walker. Jalen Cropper keeps getting mentioned of like making some plays with the backups. Not all 5 of those guys will probably make the roster. It's kind of impossible to see how Flournoy and Cropper make it, but if Cropper can keep pushing for practice squad stuff, it gives you extra depth too. Want to wrap up on the winners side with Tyler Guyton, the left tackle. And we've heard praise from Guyton working with Tyron Smith, heard praise from Schottenheimer, one of the very few. He's kind of stopped doing it since I mentioned it. The be remiss if I didn't mention, guys, that was Guyton. That was one of the first ones. Here's what Tyler Smith said on Guyton, but what he's seen so far. It's extremely encouraging. The thing about TG is he has special tools that not a lot of guys have. His athleticism, his ability to bend, explosiveness, they're all very rare. It's encouraging to see him take the next step in terms of improving his process, because that rookie year is always turbulent. It's the longest year of their lives. There's a lot of things that went into that beyond just football. I think he's going to have a great year. I think he's really approached the offseason with the right mindset, and we're all behind him as a room and as a team. Guyton's had the praise so far, and I do think that stuff matters, that he has to earn and generate that praise. Also, quick aside, that was spoken like a 35-year-old vet from Tyler Smith. He's 24, by the way. He'll be a leader for you up front, I promise you. I'm glad what I've seen from Guyton so far. I hope it continues. It is worth mentioning it's June. Pads aren't on yet. A lot still to work through. A lot of adversity to be faced, and I think responding to that adversity is going to be a big deal for Guyton. Now, if you want even more Cowboys YouTube videos, even with this long break before training camp gets going here, we got you covered. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. Let's talk losers. I'm not going to put Micah Parsons on here because I give him a lot of credit for showing up to minicamp. I'll put his bank account for now in this category. I'm glad that he was there. He did the walkthrough stuff on Thursday, briefly did some individual drills. I think it was very much a FOMO, missing out, wanted to do it, even though I'm not sure his agent really wanted him to there. He says he'll attend training camp. Hopefully the deal's done by then. Like, this isn't hard. Don't make it hard, Cowboys. Just pay him. It's going to be expensive. Everyone knows that. No one's going to be mad when you make Micah Parsons the highest paid agent in non-Cuban NFL history. Everyone's going to go, yep, that's the cost. So just do it. Be done with it. More losers. How about Luke Schoonmaker? And this ties right into the Brevyn Spann-Ford conversation. Jake Ferguson is still tight end 1. I want to emphasize that part. Spann-Ford is clearly pushing for a role. That kind of hurts Schoonmaker. Like, there hasn't really been a lot of, like, media comments on, yeah, Schooney looks good. Like, no, Spann-Ford's gotten it. Fergie's gotten some. But not Schoonmaker. I'm not going to overreact and say, oh, he's now the 3. He's still number 2 on the depth chart for a reason. We just showed. But I'm going to asterisk that one. Worth monitoring. All right, name a Cowboys minicamp loser for me. Sound off in the comments of today's show. Let's get to the secondary. And kind of mentioned this in depth on a previous video, so I'll go a little bit faster on it here. But in general, when the wide receivers, when the quarterbacks play great, probably means the secondary didn't. And in general, the defense is at a kind of distinct disadvantage. They can't be physical. There's no real pass rush. Like, the quarterback can't take a sack. He can hold it infinitely long if he really wants to, which is not how you ever want to do. You never have a Tim Tebow running situation in this stuff. They're also very banged up right now. Like, they're missing guys. No Trayvon Diggs is out there. No Savone Rebel. No Josh Butler. Andrew Booth has missed time. Kalen Carson's done some individual stuff, but not team stuff yet. He did do it in the walkthrough. Doesn't really mean anything. The starters, so to speak, of late have been Kaiir Elam, Israel Mukuamu, Deron Bland, and if you got to trot that out there week 1, don't like it. That scares me. The backups then, with Carson kind of not involved, are Kamon Hall, who's a nickel. Troy Pride got a shout out from Schottenheimer, but like, I don't want him on my roster because that means I'm missing better corners. Bruce Harmon, Luke Barku, like it's a thin group, man. It's a really thin group. So the twos, guys like Milton and Mingo and Cropper, they kind of should be cooking. Otherwise, that might be a bad thing. Finally, some hurt guys. Nothing overly concerning as of now. Robert Jones did miss the last 2 practices. That's something to to certainly monitor as we move forward here. Obviously, John Stevens has not been healthy. He's coming off his own knee injury again, unfortunately. Shamar James missed really all of minicamp. That's something to monitor. Should be fine, but haven't heard anything overly negative as of filming. Sadiq Charles missed practice, so that's always red flag for him, given the fact that he retired last year. DeMarvion Overshone, Revel, Diggs, Butler, all coming back from their own knee injuries. Andrew Booth has not been out there. I'll give shout-outs to Donovan Wilson, Sam Williams for doing individual drills, actually taking a step forward on that front. Osa did individual drills. Lamb at times did that too. I think that might have been just almost pitch counts for the vets. Hurt guys, you're just kind of playing catch-up a little bit there.